umbrellas swing and sway the weapon to a perfect three-point landing. Able to travel over almost any terrain at a top speed of 30 miles an hour, the anti-tank gun is ready and raring to roll.
Hope you guys enjoyed that clip, but welcome back folks for another episode on what's coming next for World of Tanks. Now, a new premium Tier 8 American tank destroyer, the M56 Scorpion, is currently being tested on the Super Test server. I don't know exactly when this tank will come out, but it is likely for the 9.4 patch, or the latest, the 9.5 patch. So a little history about the M56 Scorpion. Designed to be airdropped or transport helicopters, the M56 was a lightweight mobile gun platform for airborne troops of the US Army to provide close fire support. Manufactured from 1953 to 1959, the M56 saw active combat service in the Vietnam War before it was replaced by the M551 Shuridan. Now, this tank is a lightweight tank destroyer, whereas the Shuridan is a mobile light tank with a missile launcher. So, with the introduction of the missiles, tanks saw less and less usage of caliber guns to destroy other tanks. So there was less and less tank destroyers on the battlefield, whereas there's more of gun carriages with missile launcher systems and whatnot. So there's less and less mobile guns or self-propelled guns in a sense that could be able to use to destroy other tanks where there's a lot of missile launching vehicles. So alright, but the Shuridan was later replaced after the Cold War by the M1128 Striker MGS, but we're getting to armor warfare territory, so yeah. But this tank is a lightweight, air transportable tank destroyer that could use to provide close fire support for the ground troops by airborne troopers or paratroopers. So here are the in-game models for the M56 Scorpion. As you can see, this tank is very small, about the same size as a chaffee, whatever you call it, potatoes. So it is very small of a tank with a 90mm gun on top. Now this tank reminds me of the Waffenträger Panzer IV, the Tier 9 German glass cannon tank destroyer. But however, this 90mm gun is fixed mounted onto the tank, so it is not a fully traversable pseudo turret like the Waffenträger Panzer IV. But let's get to the other stats of this tank right now. So as you can see, this tank is a premium Tier 8 tank destroyer, so it will cost you about 10,000 gold or so, the same amount of gold for the Yak Tiger 88. Currently on the Super Test server, this tank has normal Tier 8 tank destroyer matchmaking, but I think they're gonna replace it with premium matchmaking, so it will see only up to Tier 9 games. So that's gonna be a plus for this tank. Now hit points wise, this tank has only 1050 hit points. So like normal Tier 8 tank destroyers, it doesn't have a lot of health, so be careful. You do get 2-shotted by most caliber guns, or 3-shotted, so be careful with your health. This tank only weighs 7 tons, so it is about the same weight as an ELC AMX. So don't go ramming anything, just run away. Don't ram stuff. You're not heavy enough. You're a featherweight. This thing has no weight behind it, so it does however get a good engine with its small weight, so only 200 horsepower, but the power to weight ratio of this tank is good, very good, 28 horsepower per ton ratio, which is very good. So this thing does shift pretty well. Maximum speed is 45 kilometers per hour. Reverse is 12 kilometers per hour. So 45 is kind of slow in my opinion, because the Hellcat can go up to 72. So even though this tank has good horsepower per ton ratio, it doesn't move as fast because of 45 kilometers per hour. Now this is not final, but it's currently being tested. So yeah, this thing cannot be a light tank obviously, because that would be too OP. So alright. Terrain resistance is pretty decent. 1.05 for normal hard terrain. 1.24 or 2.5 for medium terrains, and 1.7 for soft terrains. So this is about the same as medium tanks at the same tier, so that's alright. Hull traverse is decent, 34 degrees per second, so it's not as bad as the Hellcat, which has like 20 degrees per second, so it does traverse pretty well. View range is excellent, 400 meters. Radio range is it's okay, 500 meters. It's not the standard 750 meters at high tiers, but it's alright, 500 meters. Armor wise, it has no armor, period. Normally it has 0 armor on the front, side, and rear, but that's impossible because if it's 0, then there's nothing there, so it's basically air. So I give it like 1 millimeter. But this tank has no armor, none whatsoever. So even the ELC AMX has 8 millimeters at the front, so this thing has no armor whatsoever. So high explosion from artillery shells hurts like none other because this tank has no armor. Even if the artillery shell doesn't hit you, it will still hurt because of the explosion radius. So be careful of that, because this tank has no armor whatsoever. Now the gun shield, or the blast shield on this tank, has a roughly 5 millimeters, but that's not going to prevent any shells from hitting you in the face. So yeah, this tank has no armor. Be careful, be very, very careful. So the cannon on this tank is a 90 millimeter cannon, which is very good for such a small size of a tank. Penetration is also decent, 219 millimeters. Damage is below average, 240 hit points per shot. DPM, however, is very, very poor in my opinion, 1,854. For a tank destroyer at tier 8, this is very low, very, very low. The average DPM for tank destroyers at tier 8 is about 2,500 or more. The ISU can get up to 3,000, same as the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger, same as the Ferdinand and the Jagd Panther 4. So DPM on this tank is not good, in my opinion, really not good. Reload time goes with the DPM, so 7.7 seconds. Ugh. Rate of fire is 7.7 rounds. So this tank is a Hellcat with more penetration. Ugh. Accuracy, however, it is very good, 0.288 meters of dispersion. So that's very good. That's better than German tanks in most sense. Aim time is decent, 2 seconds. Gun depression, however, is very good, minus 10 degrees. Now, I expected this tank to have crap gun depression because it is a rear mounted gun. So, like the Waffenträger Panzer IV, that tank has only 2 degrees of gun depression, but this tank somehow gets 10 degrees of gun depression, possibly because of the higher mounted gun, because of this little rod thing, or axis, whatever you call it. So that's pretty cool. It also gets very good gun traverse angle of 60 degrees, meaning that this gun arc is 60 degrees of field of fire, if you presume. So it is like the GW Panther. I have an example right here. So the gun arc on the GW Panther is about 60 degrees. So it is very wide of a gun arc. So you can actually aim the gun really wide without having to move the hull of the tank. So that's pretty good for tank destroyers, because most tank destroyers have crappy gun arcs, such as look at the Object 704. You can see the gun arc is pretty crap. It's alright, it's decent, it's better than ISU, but it's still crap for, it's normal for a tank destroyer that has a fixed mounted gun, whereas the M56 Scorpion has really wide gun arc, really wide gun arc, which is very good for a tank destroyer. But what concerns me is that this tank historically has only 29 rounds of ammunition when it's fully loaded. With the DPM at the damage on this tank and 29 rounds, that's not going to do a lot of damage in my opinion. What if you bounce? What if you miss? So yeah, this tank is very accuracy dependent, because 29 rounds is not enough. It's like a IS-6 with less damage. So So in my honest opinion, the M56 Scorpion feels a lot like a tier 8 version of the E25, but without the amazing DPM of the E25. It has only 1,800 or so DPM. That's kind of bad for a tier 8 tank destroyer, where your competition is the ISU or the Rheinmetall Borsig or the T-28 prototypes and the normal T-28s. So Penetration is okay for a premium tank, I guess. 219 millimeters. It is better than the Yak Tiger 88, obviously, but it has no armor. It does move pretty quick. However, if it's going to be based on the historical amount of ammunition loadout, the 29 rounds is not enough, in my opinion. Not nearly enough. Unless Wargaming buffed it to some artificial number of like 50 rounds per tank or per game. So, but I doubt it. 29 rounds is the maximum load of this tank in real life. So, and with a crappy reload time of 7.7 seconds and the low amount of ammunition, this tank is more of a freaking light tank in my opinion. So, it's gonna be weird playing this tank. It's also gonna cost you 10,000 gold. So I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. It's weird. It is really weird. I mean, the E25 is very good in my opinion. It has a very good DPM. The penetration is okay in comparison to other tank destroyers at tier 7. So, like this tank obviously. But the DPM on that tank is amazing because the reload time is so quick. It's also very nimble, very fast. Also has a very good camo rating, like this tank. But the difference between that tank and this tank is that tank has 3000 DPM, whereas this tank has only 1800. So yeah, that's a major difference between a good tank destroyer and a great tank destroyer. So I don't know about this tank. It feels weird. Unless they're going to have an event where you can get this tank for free, I probably won't buy it. It's like a Hellcat at tier 8 with less ammo. So well, Hellcat has only like 26 rounds of ammunition. So but if you already know the ammunition paying on the Hellcat, then this tank has the same amount of ammunition paying. So, ugh. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, I will post up more leaked videos if I find more information about them. But rate this video and comment below what you think about this new tier 8 premium American tank destroyer. But I think this tank is going to get premium matchmaking because 290mm pen is not going to go up against tier 10 tanks anytime soon. So yeah, it's not that good. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Rate and comment and subscribe if you can. That will help me out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.